You suck at creating content. If you're a business owner and you want to grow a brand on social media, to grow your business, you have to get good at creating content. Today, we're going to talk about the single most important ingredient when it comes to creating content that actually creates a real brand that brings you the right types of clients or the right types of employees. You are not radically honest enough in your communication. You don't do enough real talk that's ego breaking. You know, I just started this video and I called you out for saying that you suck at creating content. Either you felt attacked or you realized, oh, it's actually true. Well, it is true. Unless you have a big, authentic brand on social media, it is true. Now, just because it may cause a temporary negative emotional spike, it doesn't mean that in a couple of minutes or a couple of hours, it won't foster the realization within you that, oh, maybe I should do something about that. If you are too politically correct, too professional in your communication, you will not stand out on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, wherever you want to create content. You need to learn to stand out. And the way you do that is by calling people out on their BS, the way I just did, because people will actually respect you for it. As crazy as it sounds, because look, I used to work for a company called Salesforce many years ago. And in enterprise software sales, it's cringe. It really is, because you're taught to be you gotta lick their ass a bit, the client, tell them how well they're doing. It is such a cringy, cheesy environment. I didn't like it whatsoever. Now, to be honest, there were some salespeople who had a perfect balance of sucking up to a head of IT of some software company that Salesforce wanted to sell something to, and also being challenging, because you did have to have that in there. Look, I have so much respect for Salesforce, for the company and the time that I had there. I'm extremely grateful. I had amazing colleagues. I had amazing managers. I met my dating mentor there back in the day. I'm just talking about the type of sales that was required in that environment, or at least the way it was taught where I didn't like it whatsoever. And to be honest, it's not necessary. If you actually want to sell something, a product or a service, and you want people to respect you, you want to have an ongoing long-term relationship with your clients, then you can't change yourself anyway. First of all, they don't respect you if you don't call them out. Pleasing people, that's not going to make them buy from you. It's not going to make them perceive you as the authority in your space. Whatever it happens to be, if you're selling a software, if you're selling real estate, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. A coaching, a consulting service. If people are supposed to look at you as the owner of a big company that they actually connect to, you have to show up as a human and you have to call them out on whatever it is. Talk about it. You suck at creating content. You are telling yourself that time is an excuse. Stop lying to yourself. Those are ways in which you can call people out. And you can do that in an authentic way. You don't have to sit in a chair the way I'm sitting here and the way I'm having my arms like that. My cameraman was telling me that looks weird earlier. I said, I don't care. I'm comfortable right now. And it looks a little bit different than what we had before. It's authentic in this moment because of the setup of this freaking chair, okay? So you find your own style, but learn to call people out, because vanity metrics won't help you. Yes, you need to learn to go viral, because if you want to build a brand, you need to have organic content and paid ads. So you need to go viral, but you also need to go viral in the right way. Because it's not just about doing TikTok dances. It's not just about shaking your ass. It's about going viral for the right things in a way where it builds your brand, again, true to who you are, but also so that it brings the right target audience to people who are going to buy your product or service. So you can't just look at views. And also another problem that business owners oftentimes have, human beings have, men, women, is we like the validation and the approval of other people. And it hurts when people write bad comments. We filmed a video, what was that, 2 weeks ago for my dating business where I help men find the right girlfriend or wife. That got 1.8 million views, 10,000 likes, was it, Pavlas? And maybe 1,000 comments. 99.9% of those comments were hate comments. They were so negative, they hurt. I look at the first 50, I was like, I don't want any more trauma, thank you. My cameraman is looking at all that, going, yeah, I like to analyze that. Fine, congratulations. I don't like to look at that. I don't actually care because I know that what we're doing works. So you have to become okay with hate on the internet. And in the beginning, you're going to read the comments. Eventually, you don't have to even read them anymore. But you have to be okay with getting backlash because you'll be like Moses parting the Red Sea. The more PC you are, the less people will respect you. Calling people out is for them. It's not just a selfish ego thing. Oh, look, I'm having my egotistical moment here, the ginger in the suit on the big blue armchair. It's not about that. But it's about, yes, obviously, I want to show you that I take myself serious and that this is very professional. That's why the setup is professional. I'm fully aware of that. But the core message is as much for you as it is for them. Because by telling people the truth, you're giving them an opportunity to change. Let's say you're selling a software that can really help businesses get more leads, help them with their marketing, help them with their IT. If you can help a business significantly make more money, that's going to positively impact the business owners' lives. If you're somebody who actually cares about having a positive impact, let's say you're a surgeon, well, more people should know about your service if you're somebody who does it ethically. If you don't do surgeries on people who don't need it. If you're a gum surgeon, if you're a dentist, yeah, well, then more people should know about the treatments that they're missing out on. You can educate people with your content and say, you're not flossing. Your teeth will rot out of your mouth. Or whatever, right? There's a million different types of hoax. I'm just making this up on the spot. If you were a dentist and I could blow you up on social media so easily. We've done it so many times. We've taken several people from zero, virtually zero, to over 100 and 200,000 followers on Instagram within 3 to 6 months. Absolutely possible if you do it well. And imagine the business impact that would have if hundreds of thousands, millions of people knew you and you'd have millions of views every single month across social media. What I'm saying is, if your intent is pure, then calling people out on their BS, that they're not flossing, that their IT sucks, that their sales sucks, that their investment strategies currently suck. Because you're educating, because you're only, here's the beautiful thing, going to get clients if you provide value upfront. I'm trying to help you upfront with value. Yes, I also inherently like making videos. I've been making content on the internet for 10 years at this stage. Started with self-defense martial arts videos, the personal development and dating and this. But I do want to help. Yes, it'd be kind of cool if you are somebody that I would want to work with, which is something that my team and I would evaluate together with you, obviously, that we would work together. But it's also value up front, and then a small percentage of the people who watch it, they will become clients. So it's win-win-win. You create amazing content by calling people out. It's not an ego thing. And find your own authentic style. It's not going to be my style. Sometimes I'm over the top, very intense. I like it. Sometimes I'm a little bit calmer. I own my state in the moment. I am my version of charismatic in front of the camera. You have your own. And by the way, you can see this, I'm doing that perfectly without notes. I've been making content for 10 years. So you may not be at that point. You can script content. That's fine. You do it in your own way. But saying the truth, calling them out on their BS. I'm going to give you one example. That sounds a little bit crass, okay? But it worked in the dating space. I had a video that Fernando and I filmed a year or two ago over there, where that was one of the very few videos that I ever actually scripted. Because most of the videos, 99% of the videos or so, I don't know, were never scripted. But we were standing there and I was basically saying something along the lines of, and while you keep jerking yourself to sleep watching adult videos, there are other men out there who have an amazing woman by their side just because they put their ego aside and figured out how dating actually works. Ooh, that hit. And I delivered it with intensity. And it wasn't fake because I know it's true. And it calls people out. That, the first time we posted it, 2 million views or something like that, maybe a little bit more. And then I actually reposted it. So the strategies, you can repost it across different platforms. It went viral on Facebook Reels and it's whatever. That triggered people. And obviously there was some hate in the comments, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what unqualified people say about you. Build a thick skin. Calling people out is for them. You're fat. Lose weight. I'm big boned. No, that's an excuse. You haven't understood nutrition. Your sales staff sucks. I had a client over this weekend, past weekend, and I'm looking at my watch. It's not exactly telling me the date. It is telling me the date, but not the day. A couple of days ago. What day is it today? It's Tuesday? Yes, losing track of time here. This is what you're doing, like 14, 15-hour work days. So I had a client over from New York, and we were sitting at dinner and we were talking about business. And he has an insurance business in New York. And I was telling him, his training sucks. His sales team sucks. That one conversation we had over dinner, without exaggeration, those were his words, not mine. That half-an-hour conversation, I mean, it was a bit longer, but that particular part where we talked about his business and his training, where I told him how it sucked and I called him out on it. And then obviously I showed him how to improve it. He says that alone is probably going to make him immediately, in the next couple of months, 10K profit more a month without getting more leads. That's amazing. That made me feel excited because that's good for everybody. It's good for the people getting the insurance. It's good for if it's done ethically, that's always the assumption. It's good for him. It's good for the sales staff. It's win-win-win. And you can call people out in a way where you don't push them away. There's push-pull. You want to get granular? You want the tactic? I'll give you a tactic. You've heard of the sandwich technique. Got to push-pull. You say, you're already doing so well in certain areas. Is that true? Well, for the person I'm speaking to, it is true. For you, this is true. It's not true for everybody, but for you, it's true. And then I say, you're doing so well in so many areas, yet you're pissing so much potential down the drain. You're wasting it. The amount of money you're losing right now because you don't have a brand, the amount of quality employees that will never make it to you just because they don't know you exist and they don't trust you. I have another client of mine. He started his own fund, and very smart person, and he wants obviously investors, and he wants to source deals. And I explained to him, everything is brand, right? And he's starting to take it serious now. And I called him out. And then when people grow and they're open to it, you can have anything you want. It sounds a bit cheesy motivational, but it's really true. Quality friends, health. You want speaking gigs. You want your business to grow. All of it is on the other side of brand. Calling people out, saying what it is, addressing their pain points, their symptoms, while giving them a compliment. Okay, so you tell them you're doing well here, but you suck at this. So it lands well so they can receive it. They put their walls down. It's one of the best things you can ever do for them because nobody else is doing it for them. Nobody else is doing it for them. I remember one dating coaching client that I had who found an amazing relationship, super happy, business owner in America. He says, you called me out on my shit. Nobody else ever called me out on my shit. And are we okay? Can we keep rolling? Yeah? Cool, awesome. Do you want to walk around so the light can go? And sometimes you can have cuts on videos and that's fine. Or you can have your videographer run around a little bit. That's perfect. What I'm saying is, I could be cutting this right now. I'm just going to keep rolling. Fuck it, it's fine. So that client of mine, he goes, you called me out on my shit. I'm not going to go into the particulars of what we talked about in a group coaching call, but I called him out for something in a way where most people would think, whoa, that was way too crass, way too German, way too aggressive of you. But it came from a place of love. If your intent is pure, that doesn't mean that you don't make mistakes. We all make mistakes. None of us are perfect human beings. But if your intent is pure, you're not calling them out to have a little ego moment, to have a short, status-based dopamine high, but you're calling them out to help them and to feel free yourself. It's the most beautiful thing in the whole world. If you don't say what you actually think, you will never get the right clients, grow a brand, and be perceived as a real authority in your market. And currently, you still suck at it. but it's just a habit. You can just retrain a habit. You don't even realize right now how stifled you still are in front of a camera. Most likely that's very true. How stifled you are. And again, like if you're running a business successfully, you do. And again, you push, but it is true. It is true. You're doing so well here, but you're still stifled when it comes to expressing yourself authentically. And I'm not saying not to be professional. Yes, I'm a little bit too loose, some might say, but I'm just not going to castrate myself. I can't do it. My old manager at Salesforce many years ago, I love the guy. I genuinely respected him. He says, David, you're too theatrical. You're too dramatic for the German market. You know, selling Salesforce to some head of IT Herbert in the Mittelstand. Hilarious. That's why eventually I left. It was part of the reason, right? Obviously, I like coaching always. I was coaching karate at my university back in the day. I really like working with people. It's something that I get great joy out of. But castrating myself is simply not something that I'm willing to do. So you make content in your own way. But if it's not real talk, it will never create clients. It will never attract the right employees. And remember, real business success comes from long-term relationships, doesn't it? It's not, short-term transactional stuff. Building a brand means keeping your word. Knowing that people will receive a certain type of service. Yeah, it's an association you make between one thing and you, ideally something positive, but it's keeping your word, it's knowing you're reliable. Most of the money you'll ever make comes from upsells eventually, right? Repeat purchases, customer lifetime value. Why do they do that? Well, they only do that if the product or the service is actually really good. Starbucks, I believe, it's $11,000 or $12,000. Their customer lifetime value. I don't have the exact number, but it's something around that. $11,000 or $12,000. A cup of coffee costs $5 or whatever it is. Think about how much they can spend in marketing because their LTV, their customer lifetime value, is so high. Why is it high? Well, because people like the product. You can argue about the quality of the coffee, but they create an environment. People buy an identity. It is not just the coffee, it's the experience. I feel cool when I drink it, right? Yeah, it's the caffeine, but people go there to work. They buy an identity and they buy the meeting of their psychological needs. But again, it only works to spend that much in marketing if your customer lifetime value is this high. It only works if your product or service is actually good. So it comes back to long term. And you can only enjoy working with clients long term if you don't feel like you're castrating yourself. I'm sure you've had this as a business owner in conversations with employees or at least with clients where you felt like you couldn't truly be yourself. You're like, man, you felt that restriction. By the way, a lot of men experience that in dating as well, in a lot of areas. That will make you hate your job. If you're free in your expression, doesn't mean not professional. You can be professional. I'm not saying that you should talk about politics or religion at work. No, you keep that stuff at home. But you can still be free in your expression and call people out. Hey, what are you doing? I will never, in German we say ein Blatt vom Mund nehmen, put a sheet of paper in my mouth. I'm like, it sucks. That's not good. We need to change this. I'll be very direct, but also very loving because I really care and I'm really invested. And when people grow their business, I love that. Because we only work with people who have good intent. Yes, they have to have a successful business to be able to afford the services that we have, of course, because, we know what we're doing. And it's unbelievably effective. Like, we know how to grow an authentic brand virally on all channels quickly. But it also have to be people, like there's people that we reject, that we don't work with because their business models aren't ethical. They're not in alignment with our values. We will never work with certain types of people. And if people are put off by your personality, well, then you don't want them anyway. Now, I do understand if you're Mark Zuckerberg and half the world is on your platform, that's a different story. You're not Mark Zuckerberg, okay? You're not Mark Zuckerberg. He looks like an alien. I have nothing bad to say about the guy other than that he's very vanilla. You never hear him say anything crass. You don't feel like you're really connecting to that person though, right? And yet he's building his own personal brand. He's trying to connect on a very high surface level so that he doesn't piss too many people off because everybody is his customer. And it kind of actually is true because he has that big a brand. He's building a brand. He's wake surfing, he's doing jiu-jitsu. The jiu-jitsu, I would argue, that Mark Zuckerberg is doing right now is not just to build a brand. It is probably actually also because he enjoys it, because otherwise you wouldn't be training that much. He has an inherent drive, and then he shares that, and then people resonate with that more. I'm not telling you to share jiu-jitsu. You can share as much or as little about your personal life as you want. But the more you make yourself relatable in a professional way as a person, while being radically honest and calling out the pain points and the symptoms of your ideal target audience, the more effective you will become with your brand. And if you want me and my business partner to help you personally, we've, as I've said, built an audience of over 2.5 million followers across Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. If you want us to help you personally build your brand, then send me a message on Instagram or just apply for a free initial consultation underneath this link. Get in touch with us. And a member from my team is going to reach out to you. We're going to schedule a call to see if and how we can even help you. No strings attached, but we'll take a look at your situation, figure out where you're at, what are you missing, is this even right for you? Maybe it isn't, and you will definitely get value out of it. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.